right, Shalom. Back again with another quick lesson inspired through the Holy Spirit. Harakah Kodash, giving all praise to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors and respect to the elders of Yasha Allah. Much respect and honors to my fellow ministers. All right, and respect and honors to all the believers. And this lesson, I was inspired as over the last couple of days, I've been binge watching the Resident Evil movies, the series. I watched the second one, the third one, and the fourth one. Going back and watching these movies, you kind of see how everything is there. You have a new perspective when you look at these movies, right? Because, like it's written, it says here in Isaiah 42:8, Salaki verse 9, it says, "Behold, the former things have come to pass, and new things will I declare. Before they spring forth, I tell you of them." All right, and we know that pursuant to, let me get that real quick just to back the point. Let's get Wisdom of Solomon, the 13th chapter, or the 12th chapter, verse 1. "For thine incorruptible spirit is in all things." See, the spirit of the Lord, which is the spirit of truth, is in everything. And if you are looking with a discerning eye, you can see truth in everything. And see, we understand that the Lord controls the good and the bad, the right hand and the left side. So when you look at these movies, you got to look at it, with a different eye. And so as I was watching these Resident Evil films, I saw a lot, man. And I remember seeing the first and second Resident Evil, years ago. But going back and looking at it now, things are starting to stick out. The word quarantine is in the movie. Quarantine, the T-virus, sanitize, But something I was just thinking about what made me do this lesson, you had this little girl here, which was not a real little girl. She was actually artificial intelligence. I'm going to just play the clip. It's a little short clip. All right, so you see how she disappeared because she was just AI. And what came to mind is Siri, because, going back then when this movie came out, which was about almost 10 years ago or so, there was no Siri. But now we have Siri, and it's what? It's an artificial intelligence with the voice of a female. Okay. So, I just did some digging, some looking up some things, and I just want to bring out a few points. So what was the T-virus in Resident Evil? The Tyrant virus, all right, which was a man-made mutagenic plague and a staple of the early Resident Evil games created by the Umbrella Corporation. The T-virus was derived from progenitor, a non-carcinogenic virus originally discovered in West Africa. So it was created by the Umbrella Corporation. And these were a bunch of people that had a hell of a lot of power, resources, money, all right, a bunch of scientists, all right, a bunch of Edomites. So when I thought about the umbrella, right, I wanted to go into the word umbrella because it says it was made by the Umbrella Corporation. All right, umbrella. And one thing that stood out was it says the diminutive of umbra, which means shade or shadow. All right, so the Umbrella Corporation, or the Shadow Corporation. And what came to mind is how you have all these companies out here. You have a whole lot of companies out here, but when you really do some digging, a lot of these companies go all the way back to the same few companies that own almost everything. And just to give you an example, this is from Huffington Post. It says these 10 companies control enormous number of consumer brands. All right, I'm going to show you the chart. Hold up, what happened? All right, let's read this. A ginormous number of brands are controlled by just 10 multinationals, according to this amazing infographic from French blog Convergence Alimentaire. Now we can see just how many products are owned by Kraft, Coca-Cola, General Mills, Kellogg's, Mars, Unilever, Johnson & Johnson, P&G, and Nestle. All right, let's, where is it at? Man, this is crazy. I just had it pulled up. Now it ain't showing. It's wild, man. That's, but this is the image, though. All right, so you see Kraft, all these companies that point to Kraft, Triscuit, Crush, Sour Patch. You got Nestle, which owns Gerber, Nesquik, Purina, okay, Nestle, Crunch, Alpo, damn. Okay, P&G, you got Cascade, Dawn, Tide, Bounty, Charmin, Crest, Johnson & Johnson, Unilever, Mars, Kellogg. See, so these Coca-Cola has Monster, Glacial, that the water, you know, the water that they have in the stores, the Aquafina, Tropicana, the Dole, which I didn't know that. That's crazy. All right, but see, and this is all the witchcraft and the deception too. This is because one of the things Esau was blessed with is his ability to deceive. That's why we call him the devil. All right, a devil is the deceiver. And see, this is all confusion. This is all deception. All right, why all of this? And this is what these companies are for. These companies are created, all right, a lot of times for people to basically hide behind. All right, because you can just say, oh, the company did it. It's the company's policy, when the company ain't nothing but a piece of paper that was, you know, created, you know, online, and you know that's all a corporation is. All right, when you look up the legal definition, you have two classes of persons. You have a natural person, which is a living, breathing human. Then you have an artificial person, which is classified legally as a company, a fictional entity. All right, and this is all, you know, the witchcraft and the sorcery that's being done in this world, because people are, oh, this company policy, company doesn't exist. It's a piece of paper. It's not real, right? But another example, the 6 companies that own almost all media. Now check this out. All right. So National Amusements, look at the owner, a devil, 4.6 billion net worth. All of these companies are owned by that one company under this owner. You got BET, CBS, see, TV Land, VH1, Nick, Nickelodeon, MTV. Then you got Disney, owned by Bob Iger, 44.9 million annual salary. These are the Edomites, man. A&E, ABC, Disney, Marvel, Vice, History Channel, ABC, ESPN, all that is owned by Disney. Then you got Time Warner, CEO Jeff Boots, who has an annual salary of $32 million. HBO, WB, Warner Brothers, Hulu, CNN, Cartoon Network. And when you follow the trail, it begins more and more to make sense that it's really a small group of people that control everything that goes on in this earth, man. But they hide behind all these different umbrellas, all right, these shadows, all these different companies, and that makes it hard to trace them. But see, through the Holy Spirit, all right, we're able to search these things out. Let's get Obadiah the 6th verse. All right, and it reads, how are the things that Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? All right. Comcast, CEO Brian L. Roberts, $40 million salary. See? Television, internet, News Corp. But you see the point? Sony. Look at this. Unless you're directly involved in business and or entertainment, you probably never heard of National Amusements before, because I never heard of that before. The company owns movie theaters throughout the world, about 950 total, but it owns much more than just movie theaters. NA's huge collection of properties is staggering. Whether they own a company entirely, possess majority shares, or even own minority voting shares, the scope of NA's reach is enormous for a company that's known less than its subsidiaries. But yeah, this just going into the information about each of these owners. But see, and that's why you're starting to see, if you notice, when you download apps or create an account, now it's getting to the point where you have to either have an Apple, you have to log in with an Apple ID, a Google Gmail, or something else. It has to be something else. Like it's hard to use emails outside of Google to have an account with something. You see, because everything is going, all right, one way, one direction. All right, all these companies are coming together under one banner, which is nothing new under the sun. This is First Mac, chapter 1, verse 41, and this is during the time of the Greeks, which were the Edomites, when they came into power. It says, moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and everyone should leave his law. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites. Oh, actually, that's the point. Verse 41. All right, so, back then, those that in power, which were the Edomites, they said that, hey, everyone should be one people and everyone should leave their laws. And the main people that had their own set of laws, right, were the Israelites, man. All right, because the heathen naturally submit to the power. But see, in this story, the Israelites and the Edomites are the ones that are the main two oppositions. All right, the other heathens, they're gonna get in order. All right, so that's what came to mind when I read it. Umbrella. All right, the umbrella corporations, shadow corporations, and you have a whole lot of them. All right, and when you go into that word resident, it means an inhabitant, one who resides. Okay, and then of course you got evil, which is bad, vicious, ill, wicked. So one who resides in bad, vicious, ill. All right, or when you really break it down, the two words if, all right, or eve, which means time, and then ill, which means bad or ill. Okay, so a resident is an inhabitant of evil, of bad times. All right, and that's what we are in the world, man. We're inhabiting some evil, bad times where the Lord is going to use his sword to bring about these various viruses and pestilences throughout the earth. This is Psalm 17 and 8. It says, keep me as the apple of thy eye, hide me under the shadow of thy wings, from the wicked that oppress me, from my deadly enemies who compass me about, that are enclosed in their own fat. With their mouth they speak proudly. They have, and especially with their science, they boast heavily in their science. Okay, they speak proudly. They have now compassed us in our steps. They have set their eyes bowing down to the earth, like as a lion that is greedy of his prey, and as it were a young lion lurking in secret places. Arise, O Lord, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. Right. And so the wicked is the sword of the Lord. So the Lord is actually influencing these people on the left-hand side that come about with these different pestilences, all right, these different things that are being released that are changing the scope of the world. You see, verse 14: from men which are thy hand, O Lord, from men of the world which have their portion in this life. See, and these people that we read about that own these companies, they have their portion in this life. They got all this. They making $40 million a year. This guy here's salary is $4.9 million a year. You know, they have their salary, man. They're winning. You know. In whose belly thou fillest with thy hid treasure. They are full of children and leave the rest of their substance to their babes. Yeah, they have an inheritance for their children. You see. But we're the poor and needy. We don't have anything, you know. As for me, I will behold thy face in righteousness. I shall be satisfied when I awake with thy likeness. All right. Now, you do search on pestilence. It comes up 47 times in KJV. All right, Numbers 14:12, I will smite them with the pestilence and disinherit them and will make thee of a greater nation and mightier than they. And that's what the Lord is about to do. The Lord is about to smite the majority of Israelites with the pestilence. And he's going to disinherit them. He's going to let them let them be cut off on this side. All right, and he's going to inherit his people. He's going to use his elect, all right, and make them a greater, mightier nation than the wicked of our people. You see? So the Lord controls pestilence. Deuteronomy 28:21, the Lord shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee until he have consumed thee from off the land, whether thou goest to possess it. And see, in so-called blacks, especially, we have a lot of pestilences that cleave unto our people. We got diabetes, what's that shit? Type 2. Is it diabetes? Yeah, I think it might be type 2. Type 2 something. Is it diabetes? But I know a lot of so-called black people get that shit, though. The type 2, I think it might be diabetes, gout, obesity is kicking our ass, high blood pressure. A lot of our people are smokers, pestilence, any infectious or contagious disease, fatal epidemic, all right, plague, epidemic. All right, so the Lord brings this, man. He controls the pestilences that come on earth, because at the end of the day, these are spirits. All right? The spirit of pestilence. All right, the Lord controls that. See, 2 Samuel 24:15. So the Lord sent a pestilence upon Israel from the morning even to the time appointed, and there died of the people from Dan even to Beersheba 70,000 men. You see, so the Lord sends pestilence, man. This is Psalms 78:50. He made a way to his anger. He spared not their soul from death, but gave their life over to the pestilence. Psalms 91:3. And a lot of people, the Lord is about to give them over to this pestilence, all right, because they're trusting in these jabs. Psalms 91:3. Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. All right, that noisome pestilence is going to be the plague of the missiles, the fire. All right, the Lord is going to deliver his elect from that time. 91:6. Nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. Which that's a good scripture. I might pull that up. This is Jeremiah 14:12. When they fast, I will not hear their cry, and when they offer burnt offering and an oblation, I will not accept them. But I will consume them by the sword and by the famine and by the pestilence. All right, so we see the Lord is going to get busy with the pestilence. Look at that, Jeremiah 28:8. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms, of war and of evil and of pestilence. And that's what the prophets are doing today. In modern day, Babylon the Great was prophesying against this country of what? War, World War III, of evil, all right, famines, all right, civil unrest, race wars, concentration camps, and a pestilence, all right, disease. We're telling you that more and more diseases and plagues are going to break out, all right, and it can happen to something that just came to mind, man. If the trash people stop working, that can cause let the trash and the sanitation people stop working, for 2-3 weeks, at a time, man, or whatever. Imagine how the smell on the streets will start to change, and what type of insects and things that would bring out, Imagine if plumbing, starts backing up and there's no, just all kind of shit can happen, man. And these things can happen suddenly. And what Bill Gates said, Bill Gates warned of a second wave of the thing. He said that the next pandemic is coming after, this thing, And so all of a sudden, the Microsoft co-founder became a prophet, all right? And now he warned that, there's going to be something bigger. And that's the same thing we're saying. See, he's on the left-hand side, but on the right-hand side, we're saying, yeah, there's going to be more. because like in the movie Resident Evil, this thing spread it globally, and a lot of people were infected. All right, and just like in the movie I Am Legend, just like in I think World War Z, I never seen it, but I think it's the similar story. Just like in The Walking Dead, all right, you had this outbreak of this thing. 28 days later, that was another one. This thing that spread and affected people, man. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and end that, man. Lord willing, that was edifying. Shalom.